Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Palo Verde College, an incredible week to Diamond Celebration, 75 years of the college in the Blythe area. And this is the second day of a 4-day celebration. Today it was a multicultural festival. And look who's with me, a very special guest, Dr. Don Wallace. He is the president. Any other titles besides that?
Close
Palo
enough.
Verde College?
That's close enough, President.
Okay, president. Sometimes when I interview some of the hierarchy administrators, it's chancellor or some different.
Right,
Okay, how long have you served as president of this lovely campus? Small, but it is a great resource for the area.
So I came here in July of 2013, so I'm going on 10 years, 9.5 right now. And prior to this, I was in Sacramento at the Los Rios Community College District for 6 years. Prior to that, I was up in Oregon for 18 years. Did a number of things up there, including the University of Oregon's Medical School, OHSU, and also Mount Hood Community College for about 10 years.
And where did you attain your degree, and where do you hail from?
So while I was up in Oregon, I got both my master's degree in public administration and my doctorate in education. Master's from Portland State, doctorate from Oregon State. And everybody always asks me, Oregon State, the Ducks, right? And I go, no, the other Oregon State, the Beavers.
The Beavers, proudly. Well, I'd like to know what attracted you to even find your way to the sleepy outpost, Blythe, California.
So I did my doctorate with the gentleman who is currently the chancellor for one of the largest districts in the world, LACCD, Francisco Rodriguez. And he and I became good friends. We both graduated together with our doctorates, and he ended up at Los Rios. And so shortly after that, he hired me to be his vice president for administrative services, which is the CBO, CFO of the college. And that's how I got. He recruited me from Oregon to California, and that's how I got down to California. And one thing leads to another. When you're vice president long enough, you kind of feel like you want to keep moving up, and I started looking for presidencies and landed this one here in Blythe.
Right. What makes this so unique? I mean, when you first saw it and you saw this paradise Shangri-La on the bluff, what was your first impression? Because when I came here a couple of years ago and did a basketball broadcast, I had trouble finding it. And then I said, wow, what a beautiful outpost out in the desert.
Yeah. I had never hardly ever been to a desert, let alone lived in a desert. 18 years in Oregon, it's a green, plush, moist place. And when I moved to Sacramento, that was my sort of baptism by fire into the California weather. I moved there. The first week I was there, it was, I think, 100 and something degrees every day in Sacramento for the first week. And I thought, my Lord, what have I done to myself? Well, it cools off in the evenings over there. They have the Delta breezes. And the following week, it was much cooler. I did the same thing when I moved out here. I came here same time of year, July 1, 2013, and it was like 120 degrees, and I just thought, man, what are you doing to yourself? But I flew into Phoenix, and it's a desert there, kind of a beautiful desert, and even the airport's beautiful with the cactus and that sort of thing. And I drove from Phoenix out here. It was desert, 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 desert. And then when I got across the river, coming into Blythe, everything was green because they irrigate everything out of the river here.
Sure.
And so I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that. And I have come to love living here in Blythe. My former wife of 42 years had passed about 6 months before I came here in 2013. And a year and a half later, I found another beautiful wife here, right here in Blythe. So, in a manner of speaking, a lot of my life is here.
Beautiful.
And so I love it here. I can't imagine living anywhere else.
Sure. And when people do notice the irrigation, the farmland, same for Imperial Valley, they are shocked. Let me ask you about, again, this incredible celebration. I feel you probably think of yourself as very blessed that you're in charge, the titular head of everything during this diamond anniversary. How does it feel, and what has been your, again, I would think, your approach to being the president while celebrating the past?
So when I came here, it was an interesting route, and I won't go into all that about how I got encouraged to come here. But the college was on the verge of bankruptcy when I came, and the person who recommended this to me had said, Don, how about this college? And I said, and I checked it out, and I said, you got to be kidding me. They're like on the verge of bankruptcy. They're on probation for accreditation. I mean, what are you thinking? And my friend, she was one of my vice president's friends at Los Rios, and she said, Don, if you go out there and you fix that college, you can write your ticket. And that's all I needed was that challenge. And so I applied for it, and God was good. He gave me the job here. God knows more than we do, and He leads us in paths that we probably would never choose for ourselves. And so I got here and found the board was beautiful, lovely to work with. We passed a bond. It helped to salvage the finances of the college. The faculty and the staff here all worked really, really hard to dig themselves out of that hole that had been created for them. And so that was my introduction here. And so having done that, once we got the college back on a good financial footing, we had to then start looking to the future. And we started working on our programs, working on bringing new things in here. And so here we are, about 10 years of my tenure here, 9.5 years, and we've done so many great things. And I think one of the greatest things is we have just been approved by the Board of Registered Nursing. We've been working a couple of years to bring a registered nursing program here to Blythe and to this college. We are now officially the newest registered nursing program in the state of California. And we have several hundred applicants that want to get into that program already. We can't take that many, but it's just quite a demand for that. And many other programs that we've been able to develop here along the way.
And what is your number of your student body attendance numbers here?
So we have about 7,000 students. About half of those students are incarcerated. So about 50% of our what we call FTES, full-time equivalent students, are incarcerated. We have about 25% are studying fire science throughout the state. We have some contracted instructors that do that for us. And then we have about 25% of our student body that is from our local schools. We also have a campus in Needles, so we have two local schools that feed to our district. So that's the size of our district.
Tremendous. What are the future challenges you face?
So the future challenges are things are changing, and we are really, really on top of getting ahead of those changes. The biggest change is that we pioneered the type of inmate education that we do, and we've been doing it for 22 years. And that is basically a correspondence, because for many, many decades, the inmates haven't had access to online training. They haven't had access to internet or computers. And so we have had a great long run of doing pencil and paper, mailing back and forth, ferreting it back and forth, currying it around for 2 decades now. That's going to be, we think, coming to an end in the next 3 to 5 years, or at least dramatically reduced, because the state of California has gotten behind this inmate education, and they are trying to develop some way that the inmates can have laptops. They can do a sort of online, not open online to the world, but a sort of online training. We incidentally also pioneered the online training. Probably maybe my second year here, we were asked by the Chancellor's office to pioneer that online training for inmates. So we're trying to get on top of that curve. We're also trying to expand our portfolio of students so that we're not so dependent on the incarcerated population. But we're just we're celebrating our 75th anniversary, as you mentioned. But we can't sit on the 75th. We're looking now to the 100th anniversary. And when I think about this college, 25 years from now is going to be celebrating a 100th anniversary celebration. I get chill bumps about that. So we have coined a phrase called the road to 100, meaning the road to get to the 100th celebration. So to do that, we really have to start planning for the future. We have to find out what it is that the new generation of students needs and wants, and how can we be a vital part of that. The community college system and the university system for hundreds of years has been selling one value proposition, that is, You need to get your college degree. Once you get that, you're going to have a beautiful life. Well, not only is that only partially true for some people, it's not true for everybody who does that. It's also that this new generation of students, that's not appealing to them. They have a much shorter vision for their future. So we have to get out there and find out what it is this new generation needs. How can we be helpful to that? And then coin a new value proposition that says, we now know where you want to go. Here's how we can help you get there.
Tremendous. I love the great visionary you are, and I'm really happy to be part of the celebration. We're going to be broadcasting your basketball game Saturday and be around for the gala and other things. So thank you for stopping by and sharing your thoughts, because it's important. They are in the so-called local ivory tower, but there's putting a face and a voice and the concern to show the public where your heart is.
Yes.
That's so very important. So I'm so grateful that you took the time, and we can share this with our audience.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
That was Dr. Wallace. He is the president of Palo Verde College, as again is part of the great 75th anniversary celebration going on at the campus in Blythe, California.